Hello dear students, today we shall continue with this chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. Let us discuss about today's topic microbes used as biocontrol agents. The term biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods or ecological methods or eco-friendly methods for controlling the plant pathogens and the pests. So here the organisms which are used to control the pathogens and the pest of the plants, we call them as biocontrol agents. In modern society, generally we are using the chemicals to get rid of these insects or the pest in the form of pesticides and the insecticides. So these insecticides and pesticides are the toxic chemicals which cause the harm to the humans, animals and to our environment. So these chemicals are toxic and extremely harmful to the human beings, harmful to the human beings and animals, and have been polluting our environment. So especially soil, groundwater, fruits, vegetables and to the crop plants. So chemicals which are being used as weedicides, which are used for controlling the weeds, are now polluting our soil. So then here these toxic chemicals, they are entering into the food chain in the form of biomagnification. So these pests are controlled naturally by predation rather than the use of toxic pesticides. So here some pests can be easily controlled by the natural predation methods instead of using the chemical pesticides. So there are two different farming methods are seen. One is a conventional farming, another one is organic farming or biological farming. So in the conventional farming, the farmer or the farming practices, we often use the chemical methods to kill both the useful as well as harmful life forms indiscriminately. So both the useful as well as harmful pests are also being killed here. So as a result, this leads to ecological imbalance and disturbs the food web. So in organic farming, the natural predation is carried out. So here in this natural predation, we used to eradicate the pest without the use of harmful chemicals. The farmer will start creates a system where the insects and pests are not eradicated, but they are kept controlled by checking and balancing the environment. So here the organic farmer should have the knowledge of field, flora, fauna, predators, pests with their life cycles and feeding patterns and their interaction with the environment. So here the organic farmer should have the knowledge of field, flora, fauna, predator, pest, their life cycles, feeding patterns and their interaction with the environment. So this helps to make the biocontrol agents more effective. So this is how it will develop a proper biocontrol measures and then helping in the maintaining the ecological balance. So this develops a sustainable ecosystem where the predatory and parasitic insect is able to survive and help the farmer in controlling the pest and also the use of chemical weedicides or the pesticides here. So here this is how they can control the pest as well as to get rid of these harmful chemicals. So this is a holistic approach that seeks to develop an understanding of the webs of interaction between the myriad of organisms that present in the field and the flora here. So this organic farmer holds the view how to eradicate in the creatures, especially view that eradication of creatures that are often described as pest here. Here through this method it is not only possible in killing the pest but also in undesirable, for without them the beneficial predatory or parasitic insect which depend upon them as a food or host would not be able to survive. So if we kill these pests or if we eradicate pests, then automatically the beneficial predators which are feeding on this pest will be also eradicated. So that thus the use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on the toxic chemicals and pesticides. So by using these biocontrol agents, we can easily control the food chain as well as we can maintain the ecological balance. So it is an important part of the biological farming approach is to become familiar with such various life forms that inhabit in the field and predators as well as and also their life cycles. So this will help to develop appropriate means of biocontrol. So coming to the microbes which are used as biocontrol agents, which are the microbes are being used as a biocontrol agents here. So some of the common examples which you have seen are ladybird beetle, the very familiar beetle with red and black markings, that is a ladybird beetle. So which is used to control the aphids, and another insect is dragonfly, again which is used to control the mosquitoes. So another example for a microbial biological controlling agent is the bacteria, that is Bacillus thuringiensis, which is used to control the butterfly caterpillar. So here it is used in controlling the wide range of insects. So this butterfly caterpillars can be controlled by the bacterium, that is Bacillus thuringiensis. It is available in the form of dried spores, and when these spores are sprayed on the vulnerable plants by mixing with water, so this toxic is eaten by the larvae of insects. So in the gut of the larvae, the release of toxin which is attached to the epithelial layer will leads to the disease and kills the caterpillar without causing the harm to the other insects here. So it is affecting only to the larvae of the butterfly. So recently the scientists have developed a transgenic plant which is resistant to insect or the pest. So here because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decade or so, the scientists have introduced the Bacillus thuringiensis toxin genes, that is a CRY genes, into the plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by the insect pest, and BT cotton is one of such examples which is being cultivated in some states of our country and which is a transgenic plant. So another biological control agent which is being developed for the use of treatment of plant disease is the fungus Trichoderma. So these Trichoderma species are free living fungi that are very common in the root ecosystems, and they are very effective biocontrol agents for the several plant pathogens. So generally they help in protecting the root system and controlling the plant pathogens. So coming to the baculoviruses. So these baculoviruses are pathogens which are used to attack the insects and the other arthropods. So these baculoviruses are used as biological control agents are in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. So these viruses are excellent candidates for the species specific, and they show the narrow spectrum insecticidal applications. They have been shown to have no negative impact or the effect on the other organisms such as plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even on the non-target insects. So this is especially a desirable and when beneficial insects are being used in as a biocontrol agents here. So these viruses, again, they are used to control the potato beetles, aphids and the corn borers. So this biological control method, it is an important method to conserve the beneficial insect to aid the integrated pest management program and to treat the ecological sensitive areas. So this is especially desirable when the beneficial insects are being conserved here. So under the program IPM, and it is very effective in the ecological sensitive areas. So next, coming to microbes as biofertilizers. So with our present day lifestyles, environmental pollution is a major cause of concern here. The use of chemical fertilizers to increase the crop yield has been contributed a lot of environmental pollution. And organic farming, here the use of biofertilizers is the solution to reduce the pollution. So instead of using chemical fertilizers, we can switch on to biofertilizers. Generally, we use the chemical fertilizer to increase the crop yield, but it is affecting the environmental pollution. So as a result, instead of using chemical fertilizers, naturally we can go for the biofertilizers, which is a solution to the problem of environmental pollution. So these biofertilizers are nothing but the organisms that enrich the quality and quantity of the nutrients in the soil. So commonly employed biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and the cyanobacteria. So coming to the microbes which are used here as a biofertilizers are. So as I had discussed, the biofertilizers are the organisms that enrich the soil nutrient quality of the soil. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and the cyanobacteria. So one of the microbe here used is a bacteria, that is a rhizobium. So which is associated with the root nodules of the leguminous plant, and other example is free living bacteria Azobacter and Azospirillum. So let us study about the rhizobium. So this rhizobium, it forms a symbiont association with the roots of leguminous plants. So these bacteria, they fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the organic forms, which is used by the plant as a nutrient. So this is how rhizobium is beneficial, and other free living bacteria such as Azospirillum, Azobacter can fix the atmospheric nitrogen and thus enriching the nitrogen content of the soil. This is how these free living bacteria are helpful to the plants. So coming to another microbe, that is a mycorrhiza. So this fungi, again a symbiotic association is found between the certain fungi and the roots of higher plants, which gives rise to mycorrhiza. So this mycorrhiza is with the root of system of glomus and with the higher plants, and this absorbs the phosphorus and the water from the soil and helps in the plant growth. Coming to this mycorrhiza, so here there are two types of mycorrhiza are present. One is the ectomycorrhiza, another one is endomycorrhiza. So this ectomycorrhiza is a type of symbiotic association in which the fungal mycelia intertwine to form a mat or mantle around the root, and this increases the functional area between the root and the soil, enhancing the nutrient and the water uptake. So this ectomycorrhizal association appears mostly in the temperate plants like pine, oak, beech and the eucalyptus. And in case of endomycorrhizae, So here this symbiotic association here in which the fungal hyphae penetrate the root, entering into cortical cells and their intercellular spaces. So they form only a limited mantle around the root. So they form a limited mantle around the root. So that is the difference between ectomycorrhizae and endomycorrhizae. So the many members of these glomus, they form the association with the roots of higher plants. So this association we call it as mycorrhiza. So this fungal symbiote absorbs the phosphorus from the soil and it passes into the plant. So this plant provides the food and shelter to the fungus. So due to this association, the plants are resistant to root-borne pathogens. They are tolerant to drought and also to the saline conditions of the soil. So which increases the plant growth and yield. So this is how this mycorrhiza is helpful to the plants. So coming to the cyanobacteria, again it is also one of a biofertilizer. So the autotrophic microbes which are present in terrestrial or in aquatic habitat, they can also fix the nitrogen. So the nostoc, Anabaena, oscillatoria, etc. So in paddy field, nostoc and Anabaena are used as a biofertilizers which increases the organic matter which leads to the soil fertility. So generally these are used as a biofertilizers to increase the soil fertility. And presently the farmers are using these biofertilizers in the field to enrich the soil nutrients and to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. Currently in our country a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market and the farmers are using them regularly to their field, and also they are reducing the dependence on the chemical fertilizer. So one of the cyanobacteria is Anabaena and Azolla. So these are also cyanobacteria. So again a symbiotic relationship exists between these cyanobacteria, and Anabaena is and a small fast grow fern is named Azolla. Both of them, this Azolla floats on water, and Azolla helps in the fixing the atmospheric nitrogen and then releases the nitrogenous compounds into the cavities of the leaves. So this is how they are helping in the fixing the nitrogen. And another free living form, that is nostoc, oscillatoria and blue-green algae. So they are also not only performing the photosynthesis but also fixing the nitrogen through the heterosis. So this combination of two poses makes them agriculturally more important. So this completes the topic microbes in human welfare.